Thank you for following along with Forgotten Gear Restorations as we tackle in part 2 this Mesa Boogie Mark IIB that wouldn't change channels. Reverb was non-existent. That points to one offending component and one offending matrix. Nasty little circuit. At any rate, don't forget to like and subscribe, share, do the whole thing. Hope you guys are having a great weekend out there. Enjoying the weather, enjoying your family. Bye. Kyle. The rest of you goons and mutants, pardon me while I grab a chopstick. Just a quick update on your Mesa Mark IIB. And I still need to give you a proper date on this thing. I need to give you a proper one, man. At any rate, let's go through it. I have restored your channel switching. What was going on? Well, you had a wonky diode for one thing, and then another thing, you had a ton of ripple on the supply. Now, Mesa derived the low voltage supply for the relay by putting a half wave rectifier tapped into the heater circuit. And then they filtered that with a 470 microfarad cap, 16 volt rating, and that's about it. They have, let's see, they have a bit of a reputation for being underfiltered, and that was the case for this. But actually, the guy who went through and did the cap job used kind of a poor quality cap on that relay supply. I was getting almost 1 volt a ripple. So imagine that out of a 5 to 8 volt DC supply, you're getting, and that's not a big shock. It's half wave, right? So I actually put a 10,000 microfarad cap rated at 16 volts, which is overkill on the voltage rating, but not so much, just for a nice, smooth, stable supply of DC. And instead of tucking it underneath the board, which is where the other one was, just in fact, imagine going underneath this last 30 microfarad filter cap. There was an appreciable gap here. It just fits right in there. So I put it there, a little bit of silicon there, and we're in business. So I have, I've run the leads to the other end of the heater supply for V3, and then I tapped the anode end over here, which is going to run that rail this way and then over here into your relay. I'm getting a little bit of buzz there, but I might have resolved that just going through the course of the service. So you had a lot of loose hardware here, and it relies on these chassis, on nice firm chassis contact for a nice stable ground situation. So all of that's been cleaned up and tightened down. All that's taken care of. And this is one of the earlier ones, which kind of leads me to believe that it might be late 70s. You can see that over here on the graphic EQ board, all the transistors are socketed. It's awesome. And some of their circuit board design is reminiscent of what Music Man was doing back in the day. I shouldn't say design. I should say the materials rather, because, well, I'm just gonna leave that there. You might notice that everything looks a little juicy and gooey there on the circuit boards. That's because I have some isopropyl alcohol breaking down some of the old flux and filth, and we're gonna do a proper wash of all the circuit boards in there and the chassis as well, as best as we can anyway. And that's about it for now. I need to move this thing around. And one thing we're going to do also is we need to take the phase inverter coupling caps and exchange those for 630 volt parts, because these 400 volt ones that are in there are doomed to failure. Though one might argue, hey, the thing's, the thing could be about 40 years old. It hasn't failed yet, so what's the deal? But it's just something that we have to do anyway. So I'm going to flip her over. I'll be addressing some issues with the tube sockets from the other side, and hopefully have a good little sound sample for you soon. I do need to complete the speaker swap, and hopefully I'll be able to look outward to find the issue of the reverb. Now the reverb, as you guys may or may not know, this relay has an A and a B side. Just looking at it from right here, I believe this is the A side right here, then the B side's over here. Well, it switches together. The A side will route the signal through the lead channel, and that's partially what was failing there. And then the B side will actually handle the reverb switching. So we have that. What else can I tell you? What else can I tell you? That's about it. I'm gonna have to make sure that if you kind of look at what they did here, they kind of go nuts with the tack soldering. I'm gonna make sure that these guys aren't touching where they're not supposed to be, and it seems like we have some unintentional shorting there. So come on, Randall. We're gonna go through there and take care of all that stuff. We'll update you later. Bye.